My mom cooked like a pro for everyone except me. For 20 years, she served me burnt, half-raw charcoal meals, then watched me choke them down and called me picky. The day she got exposed was the day she hosted her church potluck. When my sister visited, Mom put out golden roast chicken. When my brother came by, he got steak cooked perfectly pink. When I sat down, my chicken was black outside and raw inside, or my steak was leather with potatoes that were somehow burnt and cold. If I hesitated, she'd smile. Be grateful for a home-cooked meal, she'd say. By 12, I knew it wasn't an accident. It always got worse after I won something at school or spoke up for myself, and anytime someone said I looked like my dad's mother, Mom's jaw would tighten. She'd spent years competing with her mother-in-law. I was the reminder. Holidays were the worst. The table looked perfect for everyone else. My plate looked like punishment. Mom would announce, loud enough for relatives to hear, I made hers special, just how she likes it. Then she'd watch me chew turkey jerky and pretend it was normal. Dad never said anything because his meals were flawless. My siblings laughed because it was easier than noticing. If I tried to cook for myself, Mom hovered and hissed that I was insulting her. Then I brought my girlfriend Amy home. Mom served Amy a beautiful lasagna with melted cheese. She served me a black brick that bent my fork. Amy reached to swap plates, and Mom snatched them back. She has preferences, Mom said. Amy stared at her. Interesting. She's never been difficult with my cooking. Mom went purple. I went quiet. I stopped doubting myself. A month later, Mom hosted her church prayer circle potluck for 20 women. She'd bragged for weeks about her famous menu. I showed up early to help, and when she went upstairs to get ready, I made a few small changes. I killed her timers, nudged the oven settings, and swapped in the scorched pans she always used on me. Then the chicken came out smoking black. Next, she yanked the tray, hands shaking. Then she rushed a second batch. Louder, faster. Again, the vegetables curled into coal. Next, the rolls hardened into hockey pucks. Then the rice crusted into burnt glue. Again and again. Every dish died. Then 20 women went silent and stared. One woman crumbled a roll and it turned to ash. Another cut chicken and raw juice ran from the middle. My mom babbled about settings and timers, and then her eyes found me in the doorway. Panic leapt into recognition. She knew. Her mouth opened to accuse me. I walked out before she could. I drove straight to Amy's with my hands shaking on the wheel, and when I got there, I basically collapsed on her couch. She didn't lecture me. She just sat close and let me breathe again. My phone blew up with my sister calling me cruel and my brother calling me dramatic. I turned it off and shoved it out of sight. The next morning, my dad stormed into Amy's apartment, furious about Mom's reputation. You embarrassed your mother, he snapped. What about my plate for 20 years? I shot back. He waved it off. That was between you and your mother. Amy stepped in, calm and sharp. Did you ever notice her food was burnt while everyone else's was perfect? Dad hesitated. I thought she preferred it. Amy didn't blink. That's neglect. And you watched it. After that, I stopped debating and started proving. Amy had photos from that dinner, her perfect lasagna beside my burnt brick. My sister dug up old holiday pictures and finally saw what she'd laughed at. I recorded my mom on the phone, denying everything and calling me delusional. And my grandmother, my dad's mom, actually listened. Grandma hosted a family meeting and laid the photos out like evidence. Mom tried to blame angles and lighting until Grandma cut her off. Pick a lie, she said, because this is real. The final hit came from Mom's church. After the potluck disaster and the whispers, they voted her out of leadership. The famous cook suddenly had nothing but rumors and silence around her table. Dad didn't yell this time. He just looked sick. Later, in therapy, Mom admitted the truth. Every time I reminded her of Grandma, she punished me in the one place she thought she could hide it on my plate. I set boundaries and stayed away. Now Mom still cooks beautiful meals. She just eats them alone. Dad admitted he noticed for years but didn't want to fight, and I told him his peace cost me 20 years. I don't miss her cooking. I miss sitting at a table without bracing for punishment.